Hello, everyone. Are we moving? Are we rocking and rolling here? I'll wait till I see some comments and then I will begin to say something very good and very important. So, someone just drop a comment. Okay, I see we got about 12 views on there. Yeah, the feed is a little bit love and light to you all. The feed is maybe a little bit glitchy or shaky, but let's put all of our light in here and message out to you, and especially to the American people at the. And this is so important. Thank you. So first off, to the American people, and which are the majority of the American people are actually awake. And again, if the true numbers was out from a again, it would show the truth. So what's occurring with the medias and the social medias and also the mainstream media, the remnants of darkness, their numbers are very, very small. And one of the tactics that the darkness does is to create the illusion. They manipulate what they put out, as all of you know. So, in reality, to keep one's, let's say, even in the US, under the illusion that, let's say, more voted for Biden, actually is not the truth. And in the, let's say, the couple big social media platforms, there are only a handful of people what are there. So they're creating a show for you that is not, or the mainstream media. So having said this, the majority are awakened globally, worldwide. And some of the divine numbers I'm beginning to get in here is that, and I've mentioned this before recently, is that we actually have between 2 to 4 billion people awake enough as a result of out over the years, and also what has divinely been delivered to the surface. So your numbers are huge, and so your numbers are huge, and what's playing out here is only a matter of time. And know that everything, what played out, it had to expose that how even the American people did not have a valid constitution. And in reality, upon the entire planet, there is no valid constitution because it was enforced and kept in place within international law and the UN. But what occurs when you have the criminals at the top, enforcing a constitution? This is why it has not been with all of you individually over the. Are we still going good? You guys can. Someone let me know because here it shows it's glitching in and out. Thank you. So regardless of what occurs, I see some panic out there. Okay, it says I'm cutting out. Femke, any way I can get a little bit more, maybe? Okay, thank you. Okay, are we working now? Glitching.
Everything is going down anyway.
Okay, I'll see if this is a little better for you. Is this a little better now? Okay, keep going. Thanks, Richie. So, what I'm saying is globally, the people are in power right now and they are all coming together. So, the majority globally of the people. So, we are in the great times, yes. And the first domino to fall to set off this great period of ending the revelations was in the U.S. That was the first one. And very quickly, when it was divinely scheduled to fall, which it did, the whole government and everything, that sets off revealing the Vatican and also the British monarch, and it goes into deep into the Jesuit guard, what was actually the Dark Ones controlling the planet here. And so it's exposing all of the darkness. But what I'm to tell you is their numbers are very, very small. I have been insinuating, or let's say alluding to, in a post I put out a few days ago, that there's about 200,000. Look at that number, 200,000 against 7.5 billion or 8 billion. Like, look at that number. And very quickly you can see what's going to occur and what has to occur. And not only that, you have the huge light ground crew that is here, very advanced time travelers, multi-dimensional beings, divine beings. You have the galactics in the sky, and so this is all going to plan. So again, for the American people there, what is happening, and don't be, if you're awake, don't be going around thinking, that, oh my Lord, that half of the American people that voted are not awake, because that is not true. The same way that the ones inflated the numbers in the votes, they inflate the numbers also on the social medias and what have you. For example, I could be the owner of Twitter, and I alone could just hire 10 people, and we could be censoring everyone. And you would think, oh, that's a big, strong thing. But in reality, no, it's only a few people. It's only a handful. So we're going to perhaps have a few interruptions in Twitter and Facebook, but we need to keep Facebook up because it's the light, and it's a very important community. So there may be some fluctuations in it, but it does come back up because everything is controlled by the light, including Facebook and Twitter. Twitter, we need to do some rearrangements with that. So Twitter may fully go down, but you're hearing this from other sources. But for the most part, you have your communication, and you also have the word of mouth, so you're always communicated with. But this is exposing and revealing. It's revealing what I said about, it has to be revealed and exposed exactly who the Dark Ones were for the public, the unawakened ones. But very rapidly they are awakening, as it all comes out. So this is the end times for the darkness. And again, so with the constitutions, again, they aren't worth what they're written on, any of them, as long as the international law was abided to, or the people think that was the protection, which now they know it's not, because actually the international law has been violated by almost every country upon the planet. And in these times like that, when it has been violated, it puts it void. And the last resort, the supreme absolute power, becomes the people. And it is the people's, let's say, obligation to stand together and to know this. So in times of great tyranny and corruption, the actual enforcement comes upon the people. And with that, the military, the police, those other forces, they have a choice to work for the people, or they must stand down or be, let's say, we don't like to use the word imprisoned, but we will say detained. So again, the light forces are in full control here. Don't get caught up into the dark illusions. Know that everything is going to the plan that it has to. And also know that what we have been putting out, the awakened people and the global people's new monetary system and bringing heaven to earth, that the timeline here as well with the Patriots and Trump, that it connects into this because it's part of it that allows us to build this now. So we had got the key signs about a month ago that divinely the timing was right to begin to put this out to the reality, out to the people, and to begin to unite on a much larger front. So there is nothing to fear. Just each one follow your hearts, but know the truth of what's going on. That the light has actually won and is in control. But to prove these things sometimes to ones that are still a bit in the programming, in the conditioning, you need some very profound facts to show them. And this is occurring. Everything is beautiful as it's occurring. So know that, and again, no violence whatsoever, and keep peaceful in what you're doing, but know your strength as people's connected. And with this also, the it kind of looked like the American people and thinking just about America, but this is globally. It has the global implications, as Trump began to refer to recently, because it does, and we all know this. So it's just to let you know that the majority of the people are awake, and that there is no loss other than the evil losing their self, because their actions judge where they must go, which is great. So having said that, they are very few in numbers, so don't get caught up into the illusions, but also don't get caught up into their misinformation threads and other things that they put out there. Use your discernment and know that they have like a handful of operators that were spreading misinformation, and just know what their tactics and what they would try to do. So everything is again, it's in perfect divine order, and we and I'm telling you that there is much more going on in very good ways upon the planet. So know this, and keep in your strength. What else can I say currently? Well, currently we had Fem and I had one of our ships out here again, and all of the power was off all around us for miles, and some of you might have saw in some of the scenery in the daylight one time that you can see for miles here, and it's a pretty clear night, and we could only see two lights that were left on and two towers besides our place here. The power stayed on, but it was out for a period in every place around here for miles, but it was kept on here. And there is a lot more that's going on. I've shared what I am and what we are out publicly and openly, and it's for the ones that needs to believe and know that we are brothers and sisters. And I know many of you do. We cannot be killed, as I said, and many of you know this, because we're here to do the divine mission. And part of what's happening in the U.S. is part of the divine mission, and it's all for the good. So you need to expose how everything that whole page from now in America, in the world, your whole pages of constitutions, all of this, it has to be tore out. It's got to be thrown away, because it was all infiltrated, but I won't even say infiltrated. It was found the foundation did not contain the integrity or the merit. It was also part of the illusion, just to give you, to make people think you had the rights. But see, it all come down, the truth of it is when you had to look at who was enforcing those rights. And what they would tell you, it would be the countries and the governments, which was not true, because in the last resort, with what has occurred globally in the last year, it shows you that the people, once they know it, are the actual power, and many of them know it. And I'm so impressed at how many I'm beginning to find. I knew they were out there, but in this important time of bringing the groups all together for the new people's system, I'm very impressed to find big groups out there that were unbeknownst to me. The individuality. I knew that everything was seeded for this time, the sovereign groups, but it's pretty impressive how there's quite a few of them I didn't know about, and their numbers are very impressive and also consciously advanced, and with the light communities, if you will, as well. So everything has been very well advanced, which I'm just so grateful to see this. And it's also totally indicative of the times we are in right now as well, the ascending timelines, and where everything is divinely ascertained and assured, and it all falls into place very beautifully. So, to construct the new, as part of creating, there has to be that destruction, and this is what you're seeing of the old, what's revealing globally to more of the people again, so they will stand up. And again, Uluru, with what I said with the solar plexus, is where many are at that time, as I said, at December 21st, that there would be enough at that time to take things forward. And it occurred before that, November the 3rd. Between November the 3rd and December 21st, there was major, let's say, ones coming out of their fear and standing up. But they were very wise as well. Not only more so were they standing up, like protesting and demonstrating, they were also beginning to get informed and educated, and so they took the time, level-headed, to get informed as well. And so it's very good, and to overcome the fear, and for the people to know what they must do, and so it's all ascertained. So yeah, the end of the world as we know it. Someone posted there the song. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Because you're going to find all of the people globally have to unite and come together, and all of the governments and everything has to be squashed, which is doing. And if you look at the U.S. judicial system and parliament and government system, it is very complex, and many laws, and but those were the designs to keep one suppressed. So many levels of bureaucracy and control, because the darkness, the more complicated that you make it, even anyone that enters the legal systems to try to, let's say, get justice, it was designed that you would not if they didn't want you to. So that, again, was the way things were designed to keep control. So just saying, it had to be all tore down, because there is not true justice anywhere in the planet where there is not the people's law or the divine law. It has all been manipulated and based. Its foundation was to control. That's its intent, to control, and also, the administering of monetary fines, if you will. That was all part of it, to keep a looping monetary system, to keep control, to keep spreading the fear on ones, and to just keep everything looping, and to keep control over people. And they didn't need the money, but they created the illusion, that fines would fund the police department, which is all a lie, because the banks and governments just create money out of thin air. There's two sets of books. There's one set of books they give to the public, saying, oh, you got to pay your taxes. We don't have enough money for hospitals, and we need ones to pay taxes. But that's all the illusion, because the truth is that the banks and governments just created money out of thin air. So what we're doing is, the majority of the population of the planet knows this, that we have the ability to create. So we're going to create for all of the people the money out of thin air, and we're not limiting it whatsoever. We're keeping a control, a moderation over it as we go forward to maintain stability. You don't want everything being chaotic with the economy, what is out there in the society as we transition out of it. So to allow for a smooth transition, there is conditions with, as we get going, conditions with the amount of money that we infuse the economies with, the companies and the peoples. But anyways, I'm perhaps getting a little bit off track here. So the main thing is, have no fear, and know the power of the people. And what I do feel is you'll be seeing many citizens arrests globally that are being done by the people. I do feel this is a possibility. Many are well educated and informed, and I will also go as far to say, as at least I know in Canada, that some of the RCMP have been well educated on this, and for this time, if they need to, they will assist in citizens' arrests of, let's say, politicians and government officials as well. But this goes all around the world. So the arrests is imminent. However, we need to keep our focus on this new hope going forward. Then a lot of the little things that the darkness had in place, it very rapidly implodes upon them again when they don't have the support. So the numbers of the remnants of the greatest evil, their numbers are very few. And, they create the illusion that they're large, but no, the truth is they're not. And the people just got to know where their power is at. It's in them, not in the governments. You don't need to obey what governments and these things say. Remember, they're supposed to be representatives of you. And if you're living in a society where all the people want to be restricted by money, and this is what your representative is telling you, you know that that's a falsity. Because all the people would want to be free and have abundance. So why is a representative in government up there saying, oh, we don't have money for hospitals and all this? So you know what they are. They were part of the evil to suppress humanity, and that will not go forward, and it is not going forward in this time. And Father just reminded me yesterday that evil will not and cannot go forward. And I wrote this out again because out of my compassion, one thing I was doing is saying, bankers and politicians had a choice to enjoy this global people's thing, but there are some bad ones within the bankings, and they cannot enjoy what is being created for the people and what is going to be administered and run by the people. So you cannot have the remnants of darkness cannot go in the higher vibratory timelines, and it is assured that they will not. And I also mentioned you will see before, and you're already seeing it, that there will be much sickness within politicians and deaths from, let's say, natural causes, or even perhaps from the corona or what have you. But you will see this because they cannot go forward. And as humanity raises up in the vibration and the frequency, anything that is ill of heart and has ill intent, they cannot go forward. So they are very afraid, and this is a last ditch attempt to try to keep as many under that illusion, but they can't do it. They're getting smaller and they're imploding all the time. And the way creation and energy works, it dictates that they are separated from these timelines. Some by their own choices, because in actuality, each one chooses, they judge themselves by their actions in what they do and how they treat others, and, also with their intent. So these things are taken care of by the design of creation, which is the energetics. So it all comes down for them, and it's all occurring. So the Vatican is being revealed to the public, also the British monarch, and let's say the deep state globally. So it's all coming out, and if it needs to, more of it come out. But at this point, we got the majority are awakened upon the planet. So, and these are the people, these are the ones that create the new, and these are the numbers. So it is inevitable, it is imminent, and it goes forward. It's just that timing on how long it takes. But again, I suspect, or I shouldn't say suspect, I anticipate that in about 6 months' time or less, that we will have everything transitioned for the people upon the globe, or for the people globally. However, again, this is one feeling that I have, because I know of the possibilities, and I do know it's imminent, and I see it as a very real possibility of this quick, doing everything, especially in this time where so many have been deprived of money and a lot of sustenance because of what the governments did with lockdowns and restrictions, that very rapidly this needs to be turned around for all of the people. It's not acceptable, and the people are beginning to join together and just leave the governments in their government house, but the people are all in the country creating the law. And the ones in governments, as I said, you can count some of them on your fingers. So they don't have any power. They create the illusion that they have the power, but in actuality they don't. So blah blah blah. Woo! So I love you all, and singing "Don't Worry About a Thing. Every little thing's gonna be all right." Woo! We did it, and we're doing it, and everything is gonna be all right. So I love you, and that's from all of us to all of you, and have a great night and much gratitude. Thank you.